Okay, today, February 22nd, 2024, Union Township Planning Board is called to order. We have a recitation of the Open Public Meetings Act, please.
Pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Law, notice of this meeting stating the time and place was satisfied by the filing of an annual notice with the local source and the Star Ledger newspapers of general circulation within the Township of Union and posted on the bulletin board of the Township of Union Municipal Building.
Thank you, Ms. Rutledge. Could we have please roll call for attendance, please?
Mr. Cohen? Mr. East?
Here.
Mr. Lee?
Here.
Ms. Tomeo Espinoza?
Here.
Mr. Miller?
Here.
Ms. Perkins?
Here.
Mayor Figurito? Miniman Bowser?
Here.
Mr. Frame? Ms. Khan?
Here.
Chairman Johnson?
Here, we have a quorum, and my mic is way too loud. All right, we have one application. We had an adjournment of the Bapu Corporation application. That'll be heard at the March meeting, at least as of now. We'll be calling Mr. Hale. I understand you'll be handling the application 2024-05.
Yes.
How are you today, sir?
Good evening, and thank you all for being out, and welcome to new board members.
Excuse me, I'm
Actually, I have to, for a second, I forgot to swear in our
Yes.
township engineer.
Mr. Hayter,
Can't
raise
forget
your
about
right
him,
hand. You swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
All right, great.
All right.
So, again, pleasure to be here this evening, and look forward to our presentation. We're before the board this evening, Union County Savings Bank, located at 642 Chestnut Street, been there for many years, and what they're looking to do, actually several locations throughout Union County, is to renovate the bank. It's mainly interior renovations, we'll describe it, and beautifying the outside and upgrading the bank, and even on the interior, a new ADA and all types of things there. It doesn't, we don't think triggers, there's two existing variances for lot dimensions and setback which aren't being impacted. And then it was noted there may be a sign variance, but it's actually, the sign itself meets the 4 feet. We can work and discuss that with Mr. Harrer. But, so it's, again, a fairly straightforward application. We are located in the neighborhood core zone, which permits the bank use. So what I'd like to do is to call upon Chris McFadden from the bank to tell us a little bit about what's planned. So Chris, you go over to that one. And you'll be sworn in.
Good evening, Ms. McFadden. Will you have a swearing, please?
Ms. McFadden, would you raise your right hand? You swear that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay. So, Ms. McFadden, first of all, a little overview of your position with the bank, and then generally what you have planned for the area and this branch in particular.
Sure. So I thank you all for allowing me to
And
present.
speak kind of right into that.
Present to you tonight.
Yeah.
I am Chris McFadden. I am the Chief Financial Officer of Union County Savings Bank. I've held this position for approximately 2 years. The bank has undergone a really transformation. Donald Sims was the prior CEO of the bank. He served for about 57 years. A new management team came on board about 2 years ago, and we've been taking the bank in a different direction. We're trying to modernize the bank, add new products and services, really trying to serve the communities in a much deeper way than we have previously. So part of that is really looking at the existing facilities. Many of them were outdated and had a lot of deferred maintenance that needed to be done to them. So we've decided to completely renovate the locations. The one we're dealing with today is that 642 Chestnut, which is our Union location. It is our largest branch and our most important branch in our franchise. We have 4 branches. So this project specifically is really to modernize and really beautify the branch itself. There will be no impact to the existing staffing at the location. It will remain. And we're really looking to do improvements, not only just to the aesthetics of the branch inside and out, but we're also doing modernization inside the branch for our staff and our customers. We are doing a lot of efficiency, so we will be replacing windows and doors to more energy efficiency. We are doing improvements to, we're putting metal siding on it for low maintenance options. We're looking at power and lighting controls for energy efficiency there as well. And we're replacing an old oil furnace with a new, more efficient natural gas furnace. So we're doing, like I said, we're trying to do also energy efficiency while we're going through the cosmetic upkeep of the branches. We're also looking to make the branches more accessible to our elderly customers and to our staff. So we are doing ADA compliant parking, walkways, entrance vestibules, as well as restrooms. So those are all getting upgraded as well. So that's really the project in a nutshell. If there's any questions, I can certainly answer them. If not, I thank you for your time.
Thanks so much, Chris. Again, if there's any
Questions?
questions from the board or board professionals?
Question from the board? Question from the public? Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Chris. I'd now like to call upon our architect, Michael Davis.
Good evening, Michael Davis. I'm an architect in the state
Hey,
of
Mr.
Wisconsin.
Baton, could you please
I'm
get
going to
sworn
swear
in?
you in first.
Certainly.
Yeah, Mr. Davis, would you raise your right hand? You swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay. And Mr. Davis, you were about to explain. Please give your qualifications to the board.
I have been practicing licensed architect in the state of Wisconsin for 17 years. I've been with the Lamaki Group for 1 year. Since then, I've been under the direct supervision of the Vice President of Design at Lamaki Group, Michael Ehrlich, who's been licensed in the state of New Jersey for over 5 years.
And you are well familiar with this project and the plans?
Absolutely.
Okay,
I
good.
served as job captain on this project, which means I oversaw and coordinated the design and the construction documents of this building. I
Okay.
was here over the summer. We measured every corner of the building and developed the designs.
Great. So you've heard, obviously, the testimony of Ms. McFadden. Take us briefly through what's proposed by way of the renovations to this building, focusing
Certainly.
on elevations and the like.
I'll start with our site. You may be familiar with it, on the corner of Indian Run Parkway and Chestnut. Existing building with an existing parking lot and access drive from Indian Run Parkway. And then this is access only, drive around to get to the drive-up lanes, in and out for the parking, and then egress at Chestnut for driving out, egress from the drive-up lanes. We're working with existing conditions of a restricted, or minimum width of the site is less than allowed, which Joseph will talk about. We also have limitations because our building is situated closer than our standard required setbacks. We're at 6.7 feet instead of 10 feet back. So these are existing conditions that we're dealing with. We're removing some landscaping and replacing it. We're adding an entrance canopy to accentuate the entrance to the building. This is an existing location, the entrance. We're going to create a gabled end roof to really accentuate it and draw attention to it. We're taking the finishes of the roof and the exterior siding, and as Chris mentioned, we're bringing it up and modernizing it from 1975 into the current standards. Trying to design a more dynamic and entertaining or interesting this building for a younger client. Some of the things that we're adding is a dumpster enclosure. At one point, we were putting it next to the building, and now we're moving it to a back corner. We want to use a vinyl slat pre-manufactured product, and it's going to be in a dark gray color to represent the colors that we're doing on the exterior of the building. We also are providing a new pergola, so it's to enhance the street access, pedestrian access from Chestnut and to the new entrance. That'll be of a pre-finished aluminum with a smoke color, dark gray. We're introducing the brand of the bank with the better signage. We have a wall sign on the Chestnut Street, gabled end sign above the entrance. We're going to provide a sign with the logo only on the parking side to allow the people a better direction to access the entrance. And then we have the existing gabled end where we're going to provide signage so people driving north on Chestnut will have visibility and be alerted to the building's location. We also are showing walkway lighting, recessed lighting in the soffit, column-mounted lights, and wall packs, which I'll talk about later. So our sign on the Chestnut Street is larger than 4 feet, but this is the most prominent facade of the building and will will draw the most attention to itself. So we want to provide something that's large and very dynamic. So it's 4'9" to the height of the sign. We're providing a wall panel behind it over the existing brick, which is more of a wall finish than it is the sign. But we're still within the area requirement, I believe, and then we're just asking for consideration on the height limitation of 4 feet instead of, we're showing 4'9", and if we consider 4 foot, we would like for you to consider that. This is the sign on the gabled end of the entrance. Here you can see the new canopy that we were talking about and the sign directly on the gabled end wall panel. We're holding the 4 foot high signage restriction here. It's basically the same color scheme and branding of the east elevation. This is the gabled end where we're adding signs to provide more visibility from vehicles approaching from the north. And I think I jumped over one. Here is the parking side view where we're providing their brand only, just as a wayfinder for people from the parking lot to know the direction of travel to get to the entrance. The depth of this sign is raised canister logo, only 1 inch, and the panel behind it is 1 1/4. So we're holding the overall depth of the sign to less than 3 inches. We're holding the height of the sign at 4 feet. Our exterior finishes, we're reusing the existing brick and we're introducing new materials above it with a standing seam metal roof in a matte black color with white aluminum trim. We have a flush metal panel on the gabled ends that's slightly less dark. It's burnished slate color. We're introducing where there once was a walk-up teller window, which is no longer used. We're going to provide an exit door at that location. Where there's an existing walkway approach to it, we're going to have exit only for convenience of the customers and the employees. We're taking existing columns and removing the existing wrap, a brick wrap, cladding, if you will, keeping the structure and replacing it with new brick metal. It's like a aluminum flashing, decorative flashing that enhances the design of the building. similar on the north elevation facing the north, and the drive-through to the south, similar materials. You'll see that we're also adding new windows in some areas, which is an aluminum storefront in a dark black color that closely matches the roof material. These are some of the materials, and this is our storefront material with the matte black. This is kind of what we're talking about, how we're cladding the columns, creating a look that's very dynamic and interesting and modern to give it a new character, but keeping with the historical nature of that area as well in some ways. This is our existing brick that we're reusing. When we talk about a flush metal panel, this is the material we're talking about in vertical flush seams. It kind of resembles this with these colors. Here's our roof color, here's the burnished slate color, the white trim. This is what I believe we all understand what a standing seam metal roof is, but this is an image of that. And then when we talk about a wood finish with these columns, it's a pre-finished aluminum panel that looks like wood. And then we have a cast stone sill at all of our windows. Some more information about the standing seam roof, the colors, the trim. We've got new gutters and downspouts that will match the color of the roof material, and a little bit more information about the storefront windows. When we talk about our building, this might give you a better idea of what we're doing. Is basically we're keeping the existing mechanical room and the existing vault, and then redoing the rest of the building with new offices, meeting rooms, the teller lines, the ADA accessible restrooms, and a new break room. This is Chestnut Street to the right, and this is the existing walkway that was once their walk-up teller, now is a point of egress. This is their existing door that we're redoing their vestibule and redoing the doors with new storefront, and then you can see our canopy and pergola. Parking is approaching from the left. So our site improvements, one of the main things that we're doing is trying to enhance this whole edge. So one of the things that we want to do is remove this row of shrubs and replace it with sod. This sod's going to match what this whole area is existing now. So this really opens it up, and there's some large trees that we're removing, and we're just putting in new landscaping and edge and building along the building, along the parking edge, and then we're creating this ADA parking stall, restriping some of this area, and keeping the existing striping. Some of the materials we're using right here is kind of a blow-up of this area. You can see the entrance vest and the canopy. We're putting some stamped concrete in there to mimic a paved pavers. And then we're also providing some ground cover that it's kind of like a pea gravel is the word I'm looking for. And then these are some of the things we're also introducing. We have a large flag. We have these walkway lights, bollards about 4 foot tall. We've got some lighting on the back of the building to add additional lighting to the parking lot to enhance what the owners have done with the existing light pole and the new lights there. And then under canopy lighting, and then I mentioned the columns will have lights on them. These are up lights that look like something like this. They will be color controlled over different parts of the year. And dimmable, computer controlled, so they will provide another level of interest to this area. that's all I have about the site, and Joseph, the civil engineer, will fill you in on the rest of the elements of the site.
Well, I think your lawyer may have some questions.
Yeah, no, great explanation of the interior and exterior improvements, so I have no further questions.
Any questions from the board? All right, I have a question. I know that you mentioned that you're licensed as an architect in Wisconsin.
That's right.
Are you licensed in New Jersey?
No.
Okay. Whose work did you work under the authority of someone who's
I
authorized in New
mentioned
Jersey?
President of architecture in our office is Michael Ehrlich. He's been licensed in New Jersey for over 5 years.
And he is a licensed architect in New Jersey?
Correct.
Okay. I'm just going to have to make an inquiry with our council, because I want to make sure that we can vote based on the testimony on an architect that's not licensed in New Jersey. I just want to make sure we can do that, okay?
Yeah.
Can we? Yeah, he worked on it. We're good?
He is
We're good.
also the architect of record. He stamped these drawings. He's the, like I said, the architect of record.
That's fine, as long as we protect the record that we inquired,
Right.
and we're fine.
No
Because
problem.
your testimony was very polished and professional, I thought.
Thank you.
Great.
Okay. Next witness?
Yes, I'd like to call upon Joseph Vuch, our site engineer. Nice work.
Can you say and spell your name, please?
Sure. Joe Vuich, that's V as in Victor, U-I-C-H.
Mr. Vuce, do you swear to, or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay. And Mr. Vuch, if you could please give the board a benefit of your work experience, area of expertise, licenses you hold.
I am a professional engineer and professional planner, certified municipal engineer in the state of New Jersey. I graduated from Lehigh University in 2006. Been working in the industry since, both on the private and public side. Most notably, currently, I am a municipal engineer serving multiple municipalities in the state of New Jersey. So I often sit on your side as well as on this other side. My licenses are in good standing. I've represented a number of boards in different municipalities, in different counties, as well as work within Union County.
Okay. So, Mr. Vuch, if you could take the board through the engineering aspects of this plan. I know they're somewhat limited, and I believe you've obviously had an opportunity to review the letter issued by Colliers on February 12th, and we've had our discussions with Mr. Hatter, who's here this evening.
I have, and I apologize.
I think a lot of it was already covered by the testimony of
Mr. Hill,
Mr.
will this
Davis.
be your expert witness
Yes.
as well? Would you like to move him as an expert witness?
Yes, please,
All right,
thanks.
so ordered.
Both as he's a professional engineer and professional planner.
Okay, so ordered, thank you.
Great, thank you.
Can will that go full screen? Yeah. Can we all see it?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so these are our existing conditions on the site. As Mr. Davis had mentioned, there are existing improvements at this corner, primarily landscaping, that is being extensively removed, as well as a large tree that many may know when you come through this intersection, also being removed, and all of the existing landscaping along the front and along the adjacent property on Chestnut being removed. There are improvements along with the new entrance and the new sidewalk to remove and reset this sidewalk slightly wider, slightly off from the building, as well as then with the parking lot to address ADA accessibility. We have a small section of curb repair, removal of existing sidewalk in this area to replace with some stone landscaping, and then ADA accessibility through this area. So if we look at, wrong direction. So look at our overall site plan. We see very similar common elements of that same walkway and access from Chestnut. Extensively landscaping with a gravel base to allow for infiltration through to the plant mediums that are planted throughout this area, and resetting the sidewalk through this area for ADA accessibility from this stall through the accessible ramp at this location. And then also with the resetting of the striping in this location, we've reduced from 27 existing parking spaces to 25, and utilizing this area as the patrons' primary access to the parking lot safely while coming over the proposed sidewalk, as well as this patio area here that complements with the arch to go along with the aesthetics of the landscaping. There is, keep doing that, keep going back the wrong way. So here's our proposed landscaping scheme. As you can see, there's rather dense planting throughout the Indian Run side, complement the entrance, a two-way entrance in and out, as well as arching around and kind of identifying an isolation from the existing corner and the busyness of the street to the patrons safely accessing from the parking lot into the property, and promoting access from the street to the proposed sidewalk locations as opposed to across the lawn space. With our parking lot improvements, I mentioned we are restriping. We are not doing any grading changes. The parking lot is being seal coated and restriped. The grading that exists in this location, we were able to identify a location for ADA compliance of this space, relocating the space to here, and then provide accessibility for a complete route into the building. That is one thing that was noted in the engineer's letter. We'll add that as a note on the plan, providing it in testimony tonight to confirm that it is already in place in our plans without revisions. We are also locating our trash enclosure. Previously, the property is operated without a trash enclosure. The trash, small amount of waste, but it would be taken out to the curb when necessary. At this location in the rear, we'll have an ability to be more compliant with the code to provide trash enclosure. We don't believe they're going to need it for any increase in activity. There's no change in density to the site in any way that's going to create, and we're all more paperless nowadays, right? So we've lost a space in that corner because of that, and we've lost a space with the restriping for the ADA. That brings us down to 25 spaces instead of 27. We're well over the 16, I believe it was, that was required by the code. And with that, I also believe that one of the comments from the engineer regarding the make-ready spaces, we are willing to comply. However, I do believe that based on the exemption of section D2H in the ordinance, which follows the state's model ordinance, 25 parking spaces or fewer are exempt from providing the electric vehicle. So I would just note that. It would be the board's discretion if you'd like us to still run conduit and have a make-ready space. We are willing.
Yeah, we'll work with
Provide.
Mr. Hatter on that.
Yeah, I believe there were 7 questions that we had here.
Yes.
On page 2 of the letter.
Yes.
And
And I can
paragraph 2.1 to 2.7, you'll be able to comply with those requests, sir?
Yes, we will be able to comply. The county, so both the county and the municipality have rights of way. We'll show the site triangles on our plans for revision for resolution compliance. We'll address revisions to the landscaping appropriately to remove out of those areas. We are promoting ground perennials along the frontage, but I did note that we did have some shrubs that may be in conflict, so we'll remove those. And there's a trench drain at the existing egress from the site on Chestnut. It goes across the entire length of the exit only. It is currently operating without issues. We will inspect it and free any debris to make sure that it continues to drain across the frontage of the property to an existing manhole from the original site plan approval, and then connecting out to the county catch basin.
And we have applied for our county approval on this, and
We
we'll
have, we
supply
submitted.
that to the engineering department.
With respect to changing my hats and putting on my planning hat, we have 2 existing nonconformities on the site. We have a minimum lot width of 150 feet. We are a corner lot, so we have some exceptional uniqueness to the property of being a corner lot. The property is 25.01 feet in width along its frontage. We are not exacerbating these conditions in any way. And the density and the change in the site, we're staying within the footprint. So I believe there's no change to the site, no potential detriments of the improvements to the site. The benefits are operating within an existing usable bank facility that served this community for a number of years. And we'd ask for the variance as an existing nonconformity that's served. The site has been particularly suited for the bank's use over 40-plus decades, or 4+ decades. In addition, we have a front yard setback variance for 6.67 feet, where 10 feet is required. Again, another existing non-conforming condition, which was part of the original site plan approval in 1974. The complements of the addition, the changes to the site, and the architectural improvements have been based on utilizing the existing building, not changing the density of that building in any way, and really complementing the existing space that people are familiar with new modernization. So again, we see no detriments to the continuation of this use in this building without modification. We believe it's appropriate. It's served the bank appropriately well and the community well at this location in this configuration, and I don't see any detriments to that. I see the positives, really the planning alternative of the positives, that being that the site doesn't have to go through remodeling and extensive site work to continue to serve in the same capacity. The third variance, as Mr. Davis had noted, is on our front wall elevation. I'm going to just click back to his plan real quick so you can see that location a little better. Here we go. So the front of our, this is our front approach. As Mr. Davis was noting, the architectural aesthetics of this facade have the primary signage, the largest signage at 4 feet 9 inches in size and diameter of the circle around the star. That brand logo is the most prominent on the site, and it is a deviation from the 4-foot maximum height permitted. However, we put it, one, as the most prominent size because it is the prominent frontage, two, because it complements the space on the building appropriately. The metal banding finish behind is set at the same elevation as the windows, so there's an architectural benefit and aesthetic benefit that's provided for the suitability of that sign and that size on that particular frontage of the building. With that, I also see that it's a strong planning alternative to strict compliance with the code, in that downsizing and scaling at that location would look a little bit out of normal and not as natural at a smaller size, because as we look at the features of the building and we look to the additional sides of the building, we notice the same architectural features. So we're carrying these same features on the other facades with the metal banding and the same height and elevation of the full-size windows. So it's a complement 365 around the entirety of the building. One other point to note, it is not a variance on the application, but your code is specific about signage being permitted on one per side and on the sides that face the street, as well as the sides that face the parking. On this building, we do have 4 signs on all 4 sides. We have a frontage on 2 sides as a corner lot. It's naturally permitted under the code for signage on both those locations. We have our small sign on the rear for wayfinding from the parking lot, and we do have a 4 sign above the drive-through. That sign does still orient towards parking, angled parking on that side, as well as the drive-through. So that's why it wasn't identified by us, or I believe by your professionals as a variance for the application.
Great. Thank you very much. Again, no further questions at this point.
Questions from the board?
Yes, I have a question.
Yes.
Could you address items 2.3, 2.4, and 2.5 of the letter?
Sorry, I generalized over that. We will comply specifically to install stop signs and stop bars at both entrances. I had actually made the mistake in preparing the plans. I mislocated the trench drain as existing striping that was recently put down. So I thought we had that stop bar in that location, but we will comply there. 2.4, as I noted, the landscaping, we will make adjustments to your satisfaction for the site triangles. 2.5, the finished circles of the oval area. Mr. Davis had spoken to that earlier, that area being the corner lawn space. That will remain a lawn. We are removing the large tree that is in that location. We are removing all the shrubs that come around the corner and replacing with sod. So we'll have an open corner of lawn, inviting for the crosswalk and accessibility and view for the intersection. And then potentially have an opportunity for future improvements in that area that would complement, say, the municipality and the bank as a cornerstone, in the community. But that would be under a future application if we ever saw fit. 2.6, we will be adding note, and 2.7, I believe I touched on with the drywall.
Okay, 2.7, the trench drain and dry well system.
Yes,
That appeared on the 1974 site plan.
correct.
Has that been abandoned?
No, it is still in its location,
It's still
and it still
operational?
functions. Yeah, as I noted earlier, we will inspect it and free it of debris. It drains, I believe in the submission, we gave only the site plan itself. I do have the additional documents for the rest of that set. I'll provide those to you.
Okay.
There's details on the connectivity and the inverts that go out to the county system.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Phil. Nothing
Any
further
other
on
questions
our
from the board? Any questions from the public? Next witness?
We have no further witnesses at this time, and certainly anyone that's testified is here to answer any further questions from the board.
Okay, would you like to sum up?
Yeah, just briefly, again, it's great to see another business in the township investing into the site. I think the improvements are great, both from an aesthetic and operational standpoint, ADA compliance, beautification, opening up that corner, and the few variances are minimal in nature and have been justified by way of testimony, and we look forward to the board approving this application.
Thank you, Mr. Hill, and thank
Thank
you to your
you.
witnesses. They did a very nice job, I thought.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll take a motion that application 2024-05, Union County Savings Bank, 642 Chestnut Street, B2615, L18 be approved.
So moved.
Second? Roll call?
Mr. East?
Yes.
Mr. Lee?
Yes.
Ms. Espinoza? Yes. Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Ms. Perkins?
Yes.
Committeeman Bowser?
Yes.
Ms. Khan?
Yes.
Chairman Johnson?
Yes.
Again, thank you very much. Have a great night.
And you as well.
Take
Thank
care
you very
now.
much. With no other business, I'll take a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Move to adjourn?